makes sense, dog. That's ridiculous.
Now that one is a lot easier to manage,
Mm-hmm.
you know, getting in and out, but
Mm-hmm.
still congestion.
Yeah. That don't even make sense.
No, it's bad.
I don't see. How do they make it then?
You gotta have patience.
Yeah.
I mean that, and folks drive crazy.
Damn. So I mean, you got to leave 2 hours early just to get wherever you at going.
Absolutely,
Make sure you're there on time. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, or you will be late.
Yeah.
Hey, ready, set, go. It's time to hit the mark. This that show you need to know about. We set ourselves apart. Sports talk at the pinnacle. We got all the knowledge covering every level, helping these young men get to college. Got the coverage of a DB, vision of a QB coming at you like a DN. Let all of that sink in. Working in the weight room, we can't take no days off. Doing drills when they not looking, that's what make us stand out. Don't worry about how much time is left, we got it planned out. Execution, elite footwork, nasty when we running routes. Accuracy off the chain, we've been on it from the start. Reaching for the sky, hitting the bullseye, we on the mark.
What it do is Wednesday, you know where we at, the Fishbowl Radio Network. The On Your Mark show is in the building, man. Fishbowl Radio's new show of the year. Appreciate that award as well. It's going down. Got my guy, Coach Chris Wrighten, in the building from Euless Trinity High School. You know what I'm saying? Linebacker coach, my guy. We've been knowing him for a couple of years. We're going to talk about his season and more, a little bit of recruiting. Of course, Coach Jay is back in the building. Off the road, fresh off the road. You know how it goes now. Coach, first of all, appreciate you having you today. Appreciate your time. So what's been going on? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well, man. Just getting acclimated to not playing football, being in the off season. You know, that in itself is a process. Take a mental adjustment for sure, right? So,
Right.
man, adjusting to that and getting in the swing of off season and recruiting, man, getting full swing with that and watching some of my fellow coaches and some of my friends and buddies, you know, continue their coaching careers this year and go on to play in this big game this week. So that's about it, man.
Absolutely. Well, let's start back, going back over your season. I think this was probably one of the most successful seasons that Trinity's had in a good while. Deep playoff run, finished in the top 2 or 3 in your district. Just talk about the season a little bit. You know, start with the defensive part of it since that's where you're at.
Well, man, I mean, defensively starting off, man, we started off rocky, you know, with a new DC coming in, new ideas. You know, and with the things that transpired last year with the had a defensive coordinator there, so we was constantly making switches there, man. And so just trying to get the kids to learn the new system, you know, find where they fit, you know, adjust to the new playing style, the new coaching style that he brought in, you know. And so taking it in from there, man, I think, you know, through the spring it was about building confidence. It was about just getting them rolling with the signs, signals, and, you know, getting them comfortable. And going into the season, man, we knew we had a tough task, you know, first game of the year facing Prosper.
Right.
You know, that one of the best offensive lines in the state, man, and that just attests to what North Crowley was able to do with him, man. But, you know, ultimately, you know, man, knowing that we had that game won, it was going in with the focus that, hey, we got to play hard from the start, you know, play sound football from the start and Simon football from the start, man. And that's kind of what we focused on. You know, and I think the biggest thing was, man, we were, you know, younger than we've been in years, you know, defensively. You know, Trinity is a place who traditionally, you know, we play seniors. You know, a lot of times you don't even have a shot with us, you know, until mid-junior, senior year, you know. So, you know, then whether it be, you know, numbers-wise or whatever the case may be. And so for us to be out there with sophomores, man, and you know, looking at those type of kids starting for us, you know, people knew that we were young, you know, and so we started off young, man, and just like I said, building confidence, man. And as the season grew and district got closer, man, the kids just kind of started to roll and just were buying in, man. We had small success, which led to winning some games early on in the year. And our kids just started to be more confident, and play, a lot more confident. And when you playing confident, man, it just kind of bleeds over into, them making plays and when it matters. And, and that's kind of what the North Crowley game built into, going into that. We knew that, in a lot of cases, this could be the district championship, and I feel like over there they do a good job of building the atmosphere and, using the music and using some of those things like the crowd to they can psychologically wear on your kid, and your kids got to be prepared for things like that as well. And when you're dealing with a young group, sometimes they get caught like deer in the headlights, and you got to coach them through those moments as well. And so, going into that game, they had some experienced guys, and they were able to put some numbers up pretty quick. But, anybody that was there and saw the second half know that we came out a different Euless Trinity second half, and we couldn't quite close the gap, but, we gave them very much of a fight to that 63-49 game, and they were able to, I tipped their hats to them. They were able to win it, which ultimately was the district championship. And so from there, man, it was just trying to get through the year, and solidify our playoff spot. We weren't necessarily focused on finishing second or third, or if we had a chance to be first. We had the attitude of head down and work, man. And that's, I think, every coach in our coaching office embodies that. We don't get caught up in the antics. We not a big time social media ball club. The way we play is head down, hard nose. We coming at you. Whether you pack the box or not. And that's kind of the attitude we got as a coaching staff. Head down. Hard hat, keep working. And that kind of took us in the Bell week. And it was, man, it's been 26 years since they beat us, right? And them kids, they hang their hats on beating Trinity. Anybody in this community knows that, and nothing is wrong with that, but we hang our hat on playoff runs and trying to, get to the state championship, and so in that week, it's so much built into that week, and our kids get worked up for it. But, for us, it's a situation where, hey, you win, you're supposed to win. You're Euless Trinity, they're Bell. And then if you lose, it makes their year. And so it's a lot of unneeded, unwarranted pressure on a group of young kids, in that moment. So, they succumbed to the pressure, and then it was an emotional week for them. It was an emotional ball game for them. But, as a coaching staff, we just took the approach, hey, man, it's just another week. It's just another week. Trinity Bell, hey, man, it is what it is. We got a playoff spot solidified. And our odds have not changed. And so losing that game, we had to kind of reflect on ourselves and kind of, hey, man, the ultimate goal is a playoff run. It ain't to get to the end of the year and beat Bell kind of deal. And, once we got our kids to understand that, hey, it's okay. It's okay. You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. Now,
Absolutely.
Do we want to lose? No, but we got to be able to take the losses with our chin up as well as we take the wins. And, and so when you're trying to establish a culture with young kids, the best thing that I feel you can do is teach them how to win and teach them how to lose. Because in life we take L's. And if I've only prepared you for the successes in life, then I ain't doing what I need to do to prepare you for life outside of football. And so, that took us to that week, man. And so obviously from there, man, it was all Timber Creek. And they had them big-time gunners at receiver now. And, man, they were special.
Yeah.
Them was some special kids, man.
Right.
Special kids.
Right.
And, man, they did what they did and passed the ball around on us. And, number one, he showed us why he was special.
Yeah.
But we made some adjustments, and we were able to come up with the stops when we needed. And as I said, man, it was a young group with growing confidence. And in that moment, their confidence was at an all-time high. Man, Gates said something to me pregame before the North Crowley game that stuck with me. And he said, Coach, you got a young group. Because I don't know if you knew, I transitioned to the secondary this year. I wasn't linebacker. So, and he said, Coach, we always want them to be great every single play. Mm-hmm. But in the secondary, they got to understand that we're going to give up some, and it's about being good in the good moments, you know, in those big moments. And so when I kind of bought into that idea that, you know what, he's right. You know, we're going to give up some of those 6-7 yard plays. We're going to give up some first down plays, but, you know, rise to the occasion when the time comes, you know, and I started to get them to buy into that. And, man, when the time came, they rose. You know, they made plays, and you know, we were able to get to round 2, and we faced Midland Lee. And anybody who knows them know they got a great tradition, just like
Absolutely.
we do, right? They're not going to back down from you. They coming right at you as well, man.
Right.
And so getting the double overtime with them, man, and our kids laying it all on the line, I mean, that was a well-fought game for us, man. And if you ever have to go out, I'll take double overtime,
Go out
losing on an
swinging.
extra point, you know,
Right.
man. And we ain't go out not swinging, like
Yeah.
you say. So,
Yeah.
I mean, man, and that's where ours came to an end, man. And we transitioning off season immediately. You know, we licked our wounds, you know, that night, but I mean, immediately the next day, it was about, man, getting better, getting these seniors out, and it was about fixing what we needed to fix. And so, as I said, man, our coaching staff embodies the idea of head down, keep working. You know, don't get caught in the antics, man. We know our job, we know what we're trying to do, and you know, we're trying to do that.
Absolutely. Well, I think, you know, that's why I wanted to talk about it. I had a chance to see you guys on a couple of occasions, and I thought that, you know, you summed it up just that way. You know, being young, how do you get that across to those guys to play in a moment? Now, they've been there. So now they're going into the next year, you're going to expect more of them because they've been in that situation. They've been in.
Just like everybody else, we want to get bigger, faster, stronger, right? And so, I mean, I think everybody has a different approach on how and what to do to be able to obtain those goals. You know, but from the onset of it, you know, that's what Coach Lineweaver's focus was for us. You know, we've got to get in there and get our kids not only feeling the part, some great speed stuff, man. Some things we were doing, some things are new, you know, that are adding a different speed dynamic. You know, you hadn't really saw Trinity track, you know, be big, but if you're going to be fast, if you're a skilled player for us, you got to be running track.
I love
Right.
it.
I've always been a track guy, you know, my whole life. It's why I was able to enjoy college football. Requesting firmly that kids are at track practice, whether they're competing on that Thursday or Friday or not. You need to be there. You know, the other thing that we're doing, man, is we're extending our after times. You know, going from individual athlete, right? Our DBs need things different from the linemen. So varying the workouts, you know, and making sure that they're getting the who are actively involved, Division I, actively involved at the NFL level. When they're off season and their downtime, they're at the high school, they're working your kids out, they're talking to your kid, has been lights out, man. And so things like that, what we're doing going forward, you know, obviously we got some drills, we got some stuff that we're doing. Kids, I
Absolutely.
think you know that.
I
You know. Noticed that last year, right?
Right.
I think that's one of the best kept secrets is our skill kids, and so they're able to get their exposure beginning with 7-on-7, and we do some of that as well. We have a great relationship with some area high schools that we get after it. Our kids go over and they're able to orchestrate their own things and get together and play, and they have good times together on the weekends. And and when they're on these select teams, getting out and supporting them and supporting those coaches in the ways that we can, I think that's also a new dynamic. And and then, like I said, I'm very involved in track. We got Euless Track Club, and we got various track clubs. I used to be involved out at AP Ranch. And so, just extending the tentacles, man, within the community and trying to be more hands-on and things like that so that people start to view Euless Trinity as, hey, if I'm on this side of town, these guys are in the community, they're active, and trying to be more of a face than some of the other programs in our area. And so that's what it's been about, man.
Absolutely, Coach. I heard you shaking your head and giving the attaboy on that track. That's something that you have to have. I've been having conversations, with kids, on the fringe, especially these 2024s uncommitted. You don't got these verified times and stuff like that. It's hard. You know what I'm saying?
It is hard.
It's hard for you to get in the door. When they pull your name up, those verified times, fat times, they got to be there. It doesn't matter what position you're at. You know what I'm saying? Coach, speak on that a little bit.
It's super imperative that kids really understand leverage. Again, what do you have in your toolbox? And with the transfer portal being so impactful now,
right,
little things matter. And if a coach can look at your resume and say, the one thing I know stands out is speed kills, and this kid has a ton of it, then guess what? We can develop everything else.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
really hard to develop elite speed. It takes a very long time.
Yeah.
But if you can already show that I have it, guess what? We can build around that.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Versus you not having it and you have everything else, and they say, well, we got to add it.
Right.
They would rather you have the speed
Absolutely.
and build everything else. So for whatever reason, a lot of kids in the football arena don't want to run track because what you said earlier, they don't want to take that L.
Right.
And not realizing is you're running against the clock. The
That's
people
right.
next to you are helping you get to the clock faster.
Right.
So you're not running against them. You're pushing you to get faster.
Right.
You're going to have elite speed guys that don't want no parts of football.
Right.
You're not doing it to be an Olympian.
Yeah.
You're doing
Absolutely.
it to make the grass move faster
Right.
Absolutely.
under your feet.
Right.
So understand, young men, that at the end of the day, and again, you don't have to, run track to be an Olympian. You're running track to push your body to get to the next level.
Right.
And when you hear coaches talk about speed kills, give it to them.
Right.
The only way you're going to do that is to go to the classroom.
Absolutely.
And put in the work.
Well, there's a skill to running. You know what I mean?
There is a skill to it.
There you go.
There's
That's
a skill
right
to
there.
it. I'm watching some film on a kid from a particular school that's playing this week. They kind of run a slot to the offense, but I really liked when he got up right into the open field. There was no wasted motion, and so I watched it about 20 times. I just watched him run. You know what I'm saying?
There
And
you go.
breaking that down, that's different. You know what I'm saying? I'll take it back to like Eric Dickerson. For example. Through
Beautiful
the whole
running form. Beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
It's like a
Beautiful.
gazelle or something. It was
Beautiful.
a deer.
Can
you know what
you
I'm saying?
run?
Beautiful.
Can you run?
Can
you know what I'm saying? And that's at
you run?
any position.
That's at any
position.
Yes.
You know what
Any
I'm saying? I'll
position.
take a big D lineman, same team, 6'3", 290. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to go into names because that's a whole different thing. But the way he moves laterally, you know what I mean? And once he gets his paws up and gets free, it's a nightmare for
Yes.
an offensive line.
And
so,
the ballet movement from throwing a shot put in discus,
all
for
of that,
linemen,
absolutely.
is a beautiful thing because it shows that you are poetry in motion,
Right.
And that you can displace your power,
Right.
Yes.
Versus just getting under the bench press. I talk to so many college coaches. They're like, man, we don't care about the bench press. Only thing we care about is can you move?
Right.
Can you move?
Can
Right.
you transfer that
Right.
power? The bench press don't always show that. Can you do a power push-up?
Right.
You know, or are you explosive? Shot put and discus
Right.
is going to show your body in those planes being explosive.
Right.
So that's a great thing for the bigger guys too. So track is a lot of benefit, for a lot of guys.
So many athletes, through the track genre have the ability to go to the next level.
Absolutely.
Because of their track skills.
Yeah.
Not their football.
Right.
It's the track that brings the football to the table.
Boom.
Right.
And in today's age, man, when you're talking about the transfer portal and trying to equalize the playing field and make sure that I'm giving myself, as much of an opportunity as I can. Man, I'm all for 7-on-7, man, but hey, if I'm running 10-5, 10-9, even 11-2, 100-meter, and I'm two-time all-district football, guess what? That JC cat, he ain't running track.
Right.
He may have a stack load of tackles. He may have a couple sacks on him.
Yeah.
But he ain't showing he can move like me, Coach.
Right.
So it's just another thing in my toolkit that I can present to that college coach that transfer portal kid can't present, right?
Right.
He can't go and say, I got track times, I got this time.
Yeah.
He can't do that, and so for a high school kid, man, if you are even somewhat in a speed category at your school, I would say get on the track so that the college recruiter can just see that you're competing at that level of track. And if he ain't got some money for you, he just may very well go to that track coach and say, hey, I got a kid 11 flat, 100 meter, 11-1, 100 meter. Can we work together on this kid? And it's just another way to get there.
Another way.
Mm-hmm.
Just another way to get there, man. And so, man, if you ain't on the track, young man, get there.
Yeah.
Get there. And it's something that we selling over here as well.
Absolutely. Well,
I hope you heard that.
I think the two worlds collide. They work hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. And that's the kind of things that we talk about on a weekly basis is what can you use to leverage yourself to get there. You know what I'm saying? Now, we're going to switch hats a little bit, Coach, because you are, you do have a son that plays as well. So you're constantly working on his exposure to get him where he needs to be. He's 2025, so he's got another year to come back. He's kind of a hybrid type guy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think, he could play, some inbox safety. He covers in the nickel. I watched him play against Crowley a little bit. So talk about some of the things that you're working on, with him, getting him ready for the next level.
Man, I think with my son, starting off, it was all psychological for him, bright lights coming on, first varsity year, and not only that, you got dad over here,
Yeah.
got dad over here. And so
Right.
from the beginning, man, it was psychological for him, man, but watching him grow and flourish throughout the year, and be able to have the last three, I would say, man, the last 3 games of the year were lights out for that kid, and I think he earned his spot. He'll be at the U.S. Army All-American Combine this weekend. He was invited out to that. He's been afforded several game day visit opportunities now. And so he's opened his wings, and the wind has kind of allowed him to take flight. And so first of all, we've been very humble in that process and thanking the Lord for those things every step along the way, man. But what I've tried to do is no different than my approach in the coach's office. And that's just, I don't get caught up in the advertising my son on social media and making the videos and all that. I'm just not there yet, and I know a lot of people and a lot of parents are. I'm more of the old school guy. Let's first of all, let's make sure we're putting the numbers up and we're looking the part. So many times you see these parents running the camps and they want to shop their kid and they want to put money behind their kid, and their kid ain't a varsity starter yet. Their kid ain't an all-district football player yet. Their kid, their kid ain't academically prepared yet. And so, man, I'm a guy who believes in building it from the foundation. And so our approach to coming to Trinity High School was, man, number one, let's stay in the top half of the class and let's academically perform in the setting. And so when he was able to do that and show me that, then it became about putting some size on him. You know, and he started the year off at about, 200, 210, but throughout the season he lost a lot of weight, got down to about 180. And we're in the process of building him back. And so now he's at about 195. A lot of people are shopping him at outside backer. They like him at outside backer, as you said, roll down nickel. We played him at inside a little bit, outside a little bit, so just kind of moving him. But right now, man, it's just about getting him in front of people, and that's, a lot of people run to these various camps and this and that, but we're going to the school. And that's, I've always tried to advise parents on that. That's been my avenue to work. That's what I've done in the past with the kids that I got at the next level to play. If your kid is hell-bent on going to a school and he say, this is where I want to be, take him to that campus. When that campus has their camp, get there. When they have their open visit days, get there. Allow him to shake hands, meet people. Talk to people who are on the lower spectrum of what we consider the totem pole. So when my son was at University of Texas, we talked to the water boys. We talked to the trainers. We talked to the people on the side to find out how they worked their way into their positions and how they felt football players could do the same. Because again, with the transfer portal, man, it's made it that harder on us. And so when you can meet people who are inside, no matter what capacity they're in there, they have some information to share. And so, man, it's about getting them on these campuses, meeting people, shaking hands, and using the resources that are around us. Texas Southern has been, I think a big one for him, and he loves it down there. And I think just going, man, and getting an atmosphere and the way people approach you and they're openly answering your questions and those things. And, man, it just created an atmosphere of home, man. So I think it's about get your kid on a campus. Don't wait until they call you. You go to them. It's a world where you got to go and take what you want kind of deal. And so I've taken that approach with my son, and outside of that, man, just trusting the process, knowing that he'll get to where he needs to be with hard work and dedication, trusting Coach Kirk and the information he provides as our campus recruiting coordinator, and the guidance that he provides, and leaning and depending on, coaches that I've worked with who have young men prior to me that they've coached and guided through. And so, I mean, man, it's just a combination of those things. I think so many times we meet guys in the recruiting world and they got all the answers, right? When we're asking these questions, well, man, how do you do this and how do you do that? And I think the best thing that you can offer any kid is exposure, no matter what it is. Whether you're taking them to FBU, whether I'm taking them to this all-star game, whether we're going to this basketball classic, just being involved and creating a face with the name is lights out, and from the beginning, Coach Bly and Coach Foster with the DFW Ravens over there, they did a great job of that with those kids. And now, I mean, so many of them are playing Division I ball, man. And I felt from the beginning it was just about exposing them and showing them to expose yourself.
And putting them in a competitive environment early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Early.
Right.
And so, man, the recruiting process for us has been slow at times. It's been fast at times, but it's been steady. And ultimately, man, our ultimate goal is what our slogan is. It's something that Coach Kirk hangs his head on. School paid for, school paid for.
No doubt. I
we
like that.
We not hell bent on Division I. We're not hell bent on D2. We want an opportunity to get an education because we play football to be professional, not to go professional.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's our ultimate goal. And knowing those things, we just attack it, head on, man. And man, when we get to places and we perform, there's been places that we win and we just another number.
Right.
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 There's been places we win and hey, we the special guy.
Right.
And there's been opportunities that have created opportunities, right? And so I think it's just, man, about that. And then ultimately when the time comes, capitalize on your opportunity.
That's it.
That's it, man. And I think, you hit the nail on the head. School pays for school. You go to school to develop to a professional, not be a professional. And I think that sums it up, you know what I'm saying, exactly what you want to say, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Well, we appreciate your time. I know you got to get back.
Yes, sir, man. I got to get back, man.
You know
I
what I'm saying?
had a small window to get with
No
you guys.
doubt,
Man.
no doubt.
appreciate
No, I
y'all
appreciate
having me, man.
appreciate you coming in. It won't be the last time, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not, man. Y'all stay involved, man, and we appreciate all of the
No, we
exposure,
appreciate
man.
it.
And
Yes,
man,
sir.
you always welcome to
No
drop
doubt.
by Trinity, man.
Yes,
Come on
sir.
by and
Yes,
see
sir.
us,
I
Mr.
definitely
Steven,
will.
man. Come
I
on by and
definitely
see
will.
us,
Yeah,
man.
Appreciate
And,
it.
got you.
man, I look forward to seeing y'all at some point during camp season. all right?
you will.
You will.
You will.
We'll be around.
Without a doubt.
All right,
I,
All right,
I need
man.
you off season. Appreciate you.
Man, that's Coach Chris Wrighten, Trinity High School, man. He's got to get back, you know what I'm saying, right here on the On Your Mark Show, proudly sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. Coach, the great point I love that he made is school pays for school. And you talk about this leverage all the time, you know what I'm saying? And you know, that's in the blueprint, you know what I'm saying, the book. That's a chapter in
A lot
there.
of what he said.
A lot of what he said. Just speak on that a little bit before we switch gears.
So let me make sure I say this. Parents, what he said is his approach. And again, we always talk about there are tons of different approaches, and there is no one set rule for any kid. He speaks to it from the perspective of a high school coach. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a little different because he's already in the building.
Right.
Coach is already coming.
Right.
So it's almost pretty much manufactured. We don't have to rush it because we know they're coming.
Right.
I can, manipulate as far as who's coming.
Right.
So we know who he's going to be seeing.
Yeah.
So that's a different scenario. But the leverage piece is, again, the body of work, and he said it, exposure.
Right.
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 So the earlier we can get the exposure and maintain the body of work, then 9 times out of 10, your kid is going to be afforded those opportunities to get the looks.
Right.
But I cannot stress enough, relationships, that's very important.
Important.
I'm going to tell you why that's important. Just got off the phone on my way into the studio. Kid is about to graduate next month, committed, was ready to sign to a Power 5 university. They got a new coach, position coach. Mm-hmm. That coach said, that kid ain't one of mine. Mm-hmm. So guess what? They went cold.
Right.
No scholarship no more.
Right.
He's going to graduate high school.
Early.
So now you got, early. Mm-hmm. And we just went through this.
Yeah.
We had him.
Yeah.
So it happens over and over
Absolutely.
and over.
Right.
That coach said he's not one of mine, which is what? I don't have a relationship with him.
And you can't be mad at him about that. You know what I'm saying? But this is the rules of the trade.
You're a week out.
Right. Yeah. That's the 20th, right? Yeah.
So now what do you do?
Right.
So of course, hey, Coach Jay, what do we do?
Well, hopefully no bridges were burned. And in the
and that's what
recruiting
we have
game,
to get to we got to get to that understanding. And this is where it goes back to, again,
relationships.
If the kid was on social media, did not talk to coaches, said, hey, I'm committed, leave me alone, that's going to come back to bite him in the butt.
Sometimes those top 10s and top 6s and stuff.
And they're talking about that too now.
I know. That's
and
why
I
I brought
said
it up.
this.
That's why I brought it up.
Kids, if I were you, I would stay away from doing the whole top. It helps you. But the same coach that you left out of that top 10, that school,
they get
butthurt. Hey, listen. It's going to come back to bite you. It's cute now.
Right.
It's cool now. But later on down the line, when you say, hey, I want to go back in the transfer portal, them coaches going to remember, hey, I wasn't your choice then.
Right.
So why talk to me now?
Well,
so be careful. It is a dangerous, dangerous game. I know it's ruffling feathers and, all of that. But again, what we do now can affect us later.
Right.
So be careful of the now because you're leveraging later.
Right. That's big. And I think that's where, the ball gets dropped, and so many guys, the transport portal is so thick now.
And everybody thinking you know,
I got a shot.
No, everybody's thinking that's not gonna be me. I'm finna go to school and I'm gonna be there 4 years.
Right.
You're not gonna find very many guys that's playing football right now that been at the same school for 4 years. There's not very many.
There's a lot of movement.
Very few guys
Right.
that's gonna ever, from this day forward, be at the same school 4 years.
Right.
Very few.
So do you think it's a gift and a curse at the same time?
It is.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because there are so many. It's really a smorgasbord for coaches.
Right.
Because, you know, kids are thinking, you know, from an emotional standpoint of, you know, hey, this ain't working. Let me go try it over here.
Right.
Right. And the coaches are benefiting from it because it helps them. Right. And also on the backside of that, right, what a lot of people don't know is coaches are pushing kids to the portal. Say, hey, I got another kid that's better than you. Hey, man, go test the water.
Or it's the thing where, okay, you know, you've been here, you've done that, you had a great season, but like, we got this guy. We made it promises. He's gonna play now, or you're gonna have to compete with him now. The job's not yours anymore.
Absolutely.
Go
test the water.
Well, if you got something out there, if you can find something, you know, go ahead and test the waters. You know what I'm saying? We'll give you a release. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't, you're welcome to come back. But if you jump off that limb and it break, then where are you at?
That's the tricky part.
Right.
And again, every situation is drastically different. So you can't base your situation off the person next to you because
right.
you don't know what kind of leverage they have.
Right.
You don't know.
And that's the thing about the whole recruiting thing. You can't look at somebody else's situation and wonder why, you know, your kid doesn't have this offer. You got to stay focused on what, you know, you got to have blinders on, you know what I mean? Because everything is different. You know, it's position by position type things. And it's also fit, scheme. You know, how do you fit into those things? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. But, you know, the reason we do this, you know, the reason we talk to people and, you know, we try to help as much as we can is to guide you and to give you the blueprint to get there. You know what I mean? It's tough. Right now, it's crazy out here. It's, you know, what you've done for me lately type thing. And, you know, as the hours and the days go by, you know, more and more kids are jumping in there.
But that's what people wanted, that playing field to be more leveled.
To go along with the coaches transition, because they leave too. The coach transfer portal is there as well.
But you still got to know how to work the system.
Navigate.
You still got to learn. You still got to know as much as possible. And still, it's not guaranteed.
Right.
But you still got to be able to put yourself in the best position, you know, to win. And it's tough, man. It's really tough.
Oh, man. Yeah, man. I think what we're going to do, you know, while I was listening to Coach and thinking about it, we're going to have to do a whole transfer portal, probably a 2-hour block.
We should.
You know what I'm saying? And get some of the guys in here to talk about this because it's a lot of information that goes into it. Because once it closes, I think the end of this week, it's going to open back up again in January.
In spring. No, in the spring.
In the spring. So they left the January wrong. Okay.
Yep.
So it'll close. Then you got the signing day. You got 2 signing days in between there. And then before it opens. But what we're going to do, we're going to probably do that. We'll get that planned out because there's some guys out there that really know this transfer portal as well and have a big show on that because I think it's needed, you know, and people need to know about it, you know what I'm saying? But let's switch hats a little bit. We got state this week. It's already started. The big games of this weekend, you know, we'll focus on those because we got a matchup, you know, and I know you know these guys as well, where you got 11-6A and 21-6A. You know, with the Duncanville and North Shore, round 5. And then you got DeSoto and Summer Creek, which I know you're close to Summer Creek as well. And then you got Sock P&G. But the first one we'll get to, which I'm pretty much I know which way you're going to go, is P&G, not P&G, but Smithson Valley and Aledo. You know what I'm saying? Aledo all the way.
Aledo.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Aledo, they're just on a different level, man.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you have to really, and no disrespect to Smithson Valley, but
right.
You really have to come with a ton and then some to beat Aledo. They are, you know, losing before.
Yeah.
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 They're ready.
All right. I think the same way. At every position they're just balling. You know what I'm saying? Watch out for Hawk Patrick Daniels. I think he might have an MVP performance, over 200 yards last week. Ray Guillory, the starter's been nicked up a little bit, but he and Keys came out and dominated Forney, which was a really good team.
Forney is, man.
Really good team. Shout out
really
to the Parent
team.
twins
Cinderella.
as well.
Cinderella, man.
But,
that's the story we got to come back with. The twins.
They come.
That's a great story.
They coming. We're working on that. But, I think it's levels to it, and Alito's just on another level. But let's go to the first game Saturday, the all-white party.
All-white party. I love it.
Listen, if you're going to AT&T or you're going to Arlington Saturday, man, you better get there early. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be packed.
It's going to be packed all day long. I think they're going to break a record. But South Oak Cliff, Port Neches Groves, I know you know Port Neches Groves, that area. You spent some time in Beaumont. But I just think, Sock is Sock. I've seen them through this particular run. Seen them through all 3 runs, really. And going back before that, had a chance to see these guys up close and personal. I just think physicality up front is where they're going. Danny Green is on one of the best roles that I can see in the state. College coaches, y'all need to get with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Sock P&G is going to be a physical contest, but I think Sock is just that physical.
P&G, Southeast Texas football, great tradition, great history of playing some really, really good football over the years. Mm-hmm. And they've had a lot of good deep runs, in the playoffs.
Right.
But the difference maker to me is Sock's been there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They've won it. They
Absolutely.
know what it looks like.
Yeah.
And then you have, Coach Todd and that staff. Those guys are going to be locked in. They're not going to take it for granted.
No.
I guarantee you they're not walking in like we know we're going to win. They're walking in there with their hard hats on, about to put in work, because this is historical, right? For a few reasons. Dallas ISD, right? I talked to Todd, the AD for Dallas ISD earlier in the week, and he was like, man, we are so locked in as a district, right? Helping make sure that when you have that kind of community,
right?
You know what I'm saying? The whole Dallas ISD,
no holes are gonna be open. It's gonna be plugged in.
Whatever Todd needs,
they got it.
They got him.
Absolutely.
So trust me, he's not going in lacking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He's gonna have all the support, and then the great coaching and the history part again. Dallas ISD. Being able to win 3 straight, and then you have the black, head coach part to it. He's not taking that lightly, right?
5 Saturdays.
Well, and I'm talking just Sock right now, though.
I know, but I'm talking
that's history as well.
Yes.
That's history as well. But this will be the first time a black head coach has won 3 in a row.
Absolutely.
So that's history
in itself.
by itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then being Dallas ISD.
Right.
That's historical.
Right.
Now you add that piece of, I don't think it's ever happened where you have 5 black coaches playing for a state championship in the same weekend. Has that ever happened?
Not on the same day. Not at the same time.
So
no.
that's historical, and it almost seems like there's a shift, right?
Yeah.
Of, coaches really starting to say, hey, we can compete on a high level. And they're actually doing it. Now, winning, of course, that's where you have to, we got to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll be fine. I
well,
really
you got
don't
2 that's playing against each other, so somebody going to go home with an L.
Right. Somebody's winning, though.
Somebody going to go home with an L.
But let's go to the second one. I think it's the big one. Last year was the last game of the year. Mm-hmm. This time it's middle. It's the 5th time they've met. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand where people get like, well, I'm tired of seeing it. I'm not tired of seeing it. And
ever.
I went back and watched some shows that
it.
I was on during the summer, and I said this from the beginning. We're going to see these 2 again. Again.
And again.
And good football is what I want to see, and that's what I love. And I really love both of these programs. I was at the game last week against North Crowley. Duncanville is Duncanville. Until you see Duncanville in person and up close, you really don't have an idea of just how good they are. And it's so immaculate that they're this good. You know what I'm saying? And, I talked to DeCorian Moore and I talked to Keaton Russell about 2 weeks ago. I was at a 7-on-7 tryout that they were at. And they said that DeSoto loss refocused them. They're on another.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, no. This is coming from them now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to hear them speak on that, and both of these guys are still juniors. They'll be back next year. That tells me that, these kids, that program, Coach Samples and those guys, the coaching staff, they bought into that mantra that, listen, it's time to reset. You know what I mean? And on the flip side, Caleb Bailey's back for North Shore. You know what I'm saying? I saw Caleb at the state championship last year, and he was chomping to get on the field.
He's electric.
So for him to come back, this was his goal the whole year. Every time you talk to him, this is what he's talked about. You know what I'm saying? Devin Sanchez, Dion DeBlanc, you know what I'm saying? D. Hardiman Jr., you know what I'm saying? This is the creme de la creme of high school football. I don't care about what state we're in. If you're a football enthusiast, this is a game that you want to see. Talk about that just a little bit before we get to DeSoto Summer Creek.
That loss to DeSoto really pushed Duncanville. I think they needed that loss to really understand lose now is better than losing later.
Right.
So now they're going in with this mindset that we cannot be beaten.
Right.
Right. That this won't happen again.
Right.
Which is not good for North Shore because they're going to go at them from the beginning.
Right. So
I give the edge to Duncanville.
Okay. Last game before we get out of here, Summer Creek, DeSoto. I think DeSoto's the number one team in the state, hands down. Hands down. Don't matter who they play, I think they win. That offensive line in the trenches is what you want to see. You know what I mean? Southlake gave them a big challenge last week, but, that defense played well. Kiki Abrams had probably one of the biggest plays that you'll see stopping the quarterback at the goal line. He was all the way on the other side, and that's next level athleticism. That's the reason he's a Power 5 guy. Comes all the way over and makes that play. DJ Bailey's playing on another level. Tiger Wrighten didn't play any of the regular season. He's almost over 1,000 yards, and he's only played like 6 games. On the flip side, you got Lord Devon. Blake Thomas is playing well. Woolfolk. That defense for Summer Creek in the trenches is one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Final thoughts before we get out of here on that game.
Man, me living, in Atascocita, knowing and coaching a lot of those kids, man, from Summer Creek, DeSoto is just is playing on a different level, man. They're playing on a different level, and that is, again, Summer Creek worked their butts off to get there.
Right.
They're gonna have to come with an amazing 4 quarters to beat DeSoto.
Right.
I got to get a nod to DeSoto, man.
Absolutely.
They just playing on a different level, dude.
Yeah.
Like they're not showing any weaknesses.
Right.
None.
Right.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you
It's a loaded barrel, and when they fire off, it is what
and
it
they're
is.
coming, man.
They coming and the mindset too.
They're coming.
Is there.
Yeah, the mindset. They don't play 2 quarters.
Now shout out to Coach Mathis, man. I've been seeing some of the cut. He's really locked in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They don't play 2 quarters, man.
They don't play 5.
Yeah. They play 5 quarters.
The way they went into these games, that's what I think is the best thing. Listen, if you got a chance to get out to these games, I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it. It's worth their mission. You know what I'm saying?
You need to go, especially if you got a kid that wants to play at a high level, that
need to
know
see
what
this.
that feel like.
Right.
If they're in middle school, they need to be there.
They need to see this.
They need to be there.
They need to see this. The atmosphere, the whole thing, and the top-notch competition level is going to be out of this world. You know what I mean? And I think this is probably some of the best set of games that I've seen, and I probably go almost every year that I've seen in one day.
There's gonna be some really good. I don't foresee any blowout.
No, it's not gonna be any blowout. It's gonna be close. You know what I'm saying? Now, towards the earlier part of the week, maybe some mismatches, but shout out to all these teams. I will be there. Coach will be there. You know what I'm saying? Check us out next Wednesday, man, on the On Your Mark show. Powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. We appreciate you joining us here every week from 11 to 12 live from the Fishbowl Radio Network. Listen, man, check out the Fishbowl Radio Network. There's a lot of other good shows on here, a lot of good information, man. We're doing it big. Shout out to everybody on the Fishbowl. For me, Coach, we out. We'll see you next week.
Hey, ready, set, go. It's time to hit the mark. This that show you need to know about. We set ourselves apart. Sports talk at the pinnacle. We got all the knowledge covering every level, helping these young men get to college. Got the coverage of a DB, vision of a QB coming at you like a DN. Let all of that sink in. Working in the weight room, we can't take no days off. Doing drills when they not looking, that's what make us stand out. Don't worry about how much time is left, we got it planned out. Execution, elite footwork, nasty when we running routes. Accuracy off the chain, we've been on it from